Hey, everybody, Kirsten here. This is the Decision Ease podcast. Let's talk about when not to change course. Last week's episode, if you didn't catch it, or just to remind you, because maybe last week seems like 7 years ago to you as well, we talked about when changing course is the smartest move. Today, we're going to talk about when staying the course is the smartest move. And before we even get into it, I really need to remind you of one of the fundamental beliefs here at the Decision Ease podcast. There is no right or wrong decision according to the universe. You decide what your right decisions are. Whenever we talk about anything in terms of the smartest move or the best decision, I want you to remember this is all putting authority in yourself. You are empowering yourself to decide this is my smartest move right now. Okay, so that's what we're equipping you with, more tools and perspective and information to make that call. So let's talk about when you're going to make the call that staying the course is the smartest move. Because sometimes we do set goals and we make plans and then things get hard and then we question, wait, should I be doing this at all? Should I be doing this in this way? Should I change everything? Whoop, that's me changing course. You know, this happens during a fitness kick or a health kind of regimen that you've committed to. But then, if you're not watching, just know I'm winking. But this even happens with work projects or even jobs in general. It happens with relationships. So let's talk about what makes it hard to stay the course. One big challenge is that we often equate progress with change. High achievers, overthinkers, active, problem-solving, proactive people like us can over-rotate a lot of the time and think, if I want something to be better, I have to make things different. I have to go for dramatic change. I have to shake things up. Sometimes this is true, but not always. We're going to talk about the difference. And whether you're prone to second guessing your choices or not, when you're in the middle of a commitment and you're having the impulse to question, should I stay or change course, the temptation to second guess is strong because you're getting signals from yourself. What if I stay the course and it ends up wrong? I'm going to end up regretting this and I'm going to make myself wrong for it, or other people are going to see that. A little FOPO action happening, fear of people's opinions. What are they going to think that I just stayed the course, like a insert not nice word here? Or frankly, impatience. I often say, and I stand by it, it's still true, patience is one of my strongest growth areas. And it's one of my least favorite aspirational adjectives. Do I aspire to be more patient? I don't know. I'd really like everything to just go faster. That's my preference. But have I had to work on my patience because things just won't go faster? Yes. So all of these forces combined can make it really tempting and make it feel very logical to second guess the original decision we made to get on this course in the first place. So I want to talk about how to know when it is the smartest move to stay the course. And the very first thing we're going to talk about is the way the decision was made in the first place. I know you can't go back in time at this moment if you're already on the course, but the next time you set yourself on a course, you're going to do your future self a huge favor by really making that decision in a clean, clear-headed way. What do we mean by that? In the Decision Ease way, of course, you're going to get super clear on your reasons. You're going to know why you are making the decision to get on this course. You're going to like your reasons. You're going to be aware of what you want, your goals, your values, the vision of who you want to be, and why getting on this course is going to help you move in that direction of being the person you want to be. You're going to know why getting on this course is in alignment with what you value. You're going to know why getting on this course will help you make progress to your goals. So you're going to clear all of that up before you get on the course. Ideally, you did all or some of that. But if you didn't, don't worry. There's more stuff we can take as signs that it's the smartest move to stay the course. But this is why we make such a big spinking deal about how you make decisions, right? Because the clearer you are in a decision you make today, the easier it is to course correct or not later and be clean about it, not have a bunch of mental drama about it, not make it part of your personal narrative when you experience doubt or fear or angst or discomfort later. I'm here to tell you, no matter how clean your decision-making is in the moment you set yourself on a course, You're going to feel all that stuff at some point because you're going to remain a human person. So no matter how super crystal clear you are on something, if it is at all outside of your comfort zone, if there are any stakes at all on this course, you're going to feel some feelings. Those feelings are very easy to read as signs that, I'm on the wrong course. So when you make that clean decision in the first place, you make it easier for future you to feel those feelings, but not second guess the decision in the first place. Now, if you didn't clarify your vision, goals, and values, if you didn't name and like your reasons for setting out on this course in the first place, that's okay. You can do it now. You can do it at a moment of wanting to second guess things. And that's going to be a much better use of your time than going through the mental gymnastics of, well, should I or shouldn't I? And what are the bad things that are going to happen if I stay? And what are the bad things that are going to happen if I go? When you're stressed at this point, when you're questioning to change course or not, you're going to be highly problem focused and highly negative focused. And you're not going to do your most expansive creative thinking. I don't want you to waste your time with those questions off the bat. I would prefer you just sit down and think, okay, what are my goals? What are my values? What is the vision of the person I want to be? How do I want to see myself? Who do I want to become by the end of this quarter, by the end of this year? And will this course that I'm on right now, that might not feel great, but I'm on it, will staying that course help me get to where I want to go? Do I know and like my reasons for staying on it now? Because this is another sign that the smartest move is to stay the course. When your discomfort is coming from being in a phrase my clients will recognize, the messy middle. The discomfort doesn't always come from misalignment. I am veering off course and getting further away from what I originally wanted, or I'm acting out of alignment with what I really find important or think I need. Sometimes you're just in the messy middle where things are different and different feels weird and weird feels bad. So you're out of your comfort zone. You don't have any instant feedback that, it's working, because that would feel good. But if you're just in this messy middle where you're like, okay, I've put myself on a course. I had no way to guarantee that that would feel good or create the results I wanted. And now I feel like I just have to wait to see what happens, and I don't like it. When you're in that messy middle, that can be uncomfortable. This is very good to put in your plan if you're setting yourself on a course that you can reasonably predict will be uncomfortable for part of the time. If you are setting yourself on a course that's a deviation from your norm, if you are committing to a new health routine, or you are trying a new thing in your business, or you're taking on a new role. I had a client who took a voluntary role on at her job, and she didn't seek it out. They asked her to do it, and she wasn't sure it was going to be something she ended up liking long term. There was no way to find that out unless she tried it, though, and she could see upsides. So it was one of those things where it's like, okay, I'm going to make this an experiment, but I can plan on it being uncomfortable or feeling weird simply because, if for no other reason, it is outside my norm, right? There's another specific thing you can look for as a sign that staying the course is the smartest move. And that's when this impulse to quit or change course is coming from comparison or boredom or catastrophizing. Let's break these down because they're all a little different flavors of the same ice cream. You can actually be on a course where everything is going according to your original plan. I've seen this happen many times with clients where nothing is actually going wrong with their course, but they start comparing themselves to other people, or they can start comparing themselves to their mental image of other people or their mental image of their perfect selves. And compared to other people or imaginary people or ideal versions of themselves, their plan isn't working. Something that we do a lot in our decision coaching is building up this skill of being able to evaluate objectively. And the first question you ask when you're evaluating is, what's working? Because it's very, very easy to just skip over anything going well or is doing what you thought it would and highlight, this doesn't look as good as them. I don't like this. This doesn't feel good. So check, do I want to pivot because I'm comparing myself to some imaginary or ideal version of the way things would be going? But if I look just at what's happening, I can't see anything going wrong. The second thing is just boredom. And this is, I don't know where you are in your journey, in your energy. My husband tends to point out to me that I am not a person who is incredibly good at sitting still. And you only have to hang out with my dad for about 6 minutes to know where I got that from. And I have gotten better at it. If you will recall, one of the recent podcasts I did was about things that make my daily life easier and my mental load lighter. One of those things was embracing a hobby. And it happens to be tending to I can't remember how many there are, 50 something rose bushes on our property. This isn't exactly sitting still activity, but it is quiet and slow moving and gets me into flow. So better. But if you're at all like me, and like I mentioned before, if you have any of those proactive, high achiever, I feel good when I'm getting stuff done qualities, which we are not berating, you might get a little bored. If things are not going exceedingly well or going quickly or going catastrophically poorly, if things are actually just stable, and that's what has to happen for this course to end up successful, you might be bored. And that is a really good thing to know about yourself because it is a challenge you can embrace. You can really know when you start feeling that inner chihuahua energy, that inner, I'm getting itchy. I got to shake something up. When you start feeling that, you can know this is some of the work I'm doing right now. I'm learning how to sail in calm waters and not be so freaked out that there's not a storm to prepare for or a storm to weather or a school of whales to marvel at going by. I'm literally just learning how to not make it a problem that the waters are calm and we're just rowing. We're just rowing the boat where we wanted to row it in the first place. We just keep going. That is actual work you might be doing or might need to do. And another origin story of this urge to quit or change course can be catastrophizing. It can be taking this moment of discomfort you're in and shooting all the way into the future of, holy moly, we're going to ruin everything. We're going to feel like this forever. We are going to not like the results of staying this course. We are going to blame ourselves hard, and we're probably going to ruin everything. Notice if your mind is saying any of this stuff. It's not to invalidate your fear, but we're pointing out this is not where you want to make decisions from. This is not conscious, clear-headed thinking. When you're in this mode of, I'm going to ruin everything. Everything is contingent on this next moment. If that is not literally the case, which most of the time it's not, it's time to regulate. It's not time to make a big life choice. So I want to end with a story from a client, and I always kind of mush clients together so that it's still real, but it's not telling everybody's business outside of school. I want to end with a client story though, because like I said, I've coached many clients on changing course, many clients on staying the course. So there's no right one best answer. You're in charge of deciding this is the smartest move for me. But this client story just really illustrates how normal it is to have the impulse to want to change course. And when you can see what the real smartest move is in that moment. This client was starting a new career, a brand new career, had spent many, many years building up this one career in this one direction and kind of inhabiting this one identity, and then total shift. So exciting, so scary. Both are true, right? There were times when the minions in her mind felt uncomfortable because it did feel scary and it did feel like a big change and everything was different and there weren't immediate results to validate, yep, this is going to work out great. And the minions in her mind would offer up these questions. Should we be doing this? Is this actually the right course to set out on? Have we made a huge mistake? But she had made the decision super, super consciously with a clear head. She knew her reasons. She liked her reasons. She didn't have any stories going on about what this means about me, what this means I'm incapable of. And she was honest with herself that there will probably be discomfort when I set about this path. She knew this is probably what she was in for. But what was happening was she was having these moments of vulnerability, moments of doubt. And I really want you to hear me when I say, just because you plan on being uncomfortable doesn't mean you have to like it. It doesn't mean, well, you said You were okay with feeling uncomfortable. So no complaining from you. You're allowed to need to stop in the process and give yourself a pep talk or take a break. Think about going on a hard hike. When you set out on a hike, it's going to be totally worth it. When you get up to the top, you're going to feel super accomplished. You're going to feel stronger. You're going to get an amazing view, but it's not easy. There will be steep parts. It might get hot. You might want to quit. In those moments on that hike, when you get, a third of the way up the mountain and you're like, holy moly, this is steep. You don't then get the nearest stick from the ground and just start hitting yourself on the head with it. You don't tell yourself, well, this is what you signed up for, bucko, so shush your mouth. What do you do in those moments? Well, if you're a subscriber to the decision ease way of thinking, you freaking stop, you have some water, you tell yourself, man, this is hard. I'm doing a great job. I'm going to keep going, but yeah, this is difficult. You tell yourself what you need to hear. You don't make yourself wrong for struggling on something that was hard. So in those moments when her mind minions were saying, hey, are we making a huge mistake? Should we rethink this decision? She knew that was her brain throwing her a floaty. What are those things called on cruise ships? The life raft, the circle thing, lifesaver? That's what the mints are named after, right? I don't know. It's your brain noticing you are in a moment of distress and thinking you need to get out of it. Here, have a lifesaver. Here's your floaty. Grab it and I'll pull you out of distress. Just quit. Change the decision. This decision's making you uncomfortable. We have to address that discomfort. Here's how I know to do that. Change the decision. Now, your brain is totally on your side. Your nervous system is totally on your side. It's wanting to protect you. And it's not wrong that the distress needs addressing. You just don't have to take the first thing it offers you, which is yanking yourself out of this decision and changing course and abandoning the goal that you committed to. You do need to address the discomfort, but there are many ways you can do that. Sometimes, like we talked about last week, that discomfort is showing up for a reason, to signal that you are on the wrong course and it is time to change course. But if you listen to the signs that we outlined in this episode for when it's the smartest move to stay the course, then just like my client did in those moments, that your job at the moment you get this distress signal from yourself is to simply address that. It's to get grounded. It's to have self-compassion. It's to activate all the internal resourcing that you can to get yourself through that hard moment and keep walking up the mountain. Another analogy I'm going to leave you with is the idea of getting stuck somewhere, like a chairlift or a roller coaster. This is a literal course that you've set yourself on, right? And this isn't as in your control to change course or pivot. So it's not exactly the same, but I want you to stay with me because when you are in that moment, I remember specifically being stuck on a roller coaster one time. And I was like hanging, like you're strapped in and I was horizontal to the ground, so like facing down. And I was like, how would I have ever survived this moment without any meditation training? I spent most of my life with a very anxious, overthinking mind. And I probably would have had a panic attack in that moment if I didn't have any ability to just like breathe and be in a moment. But that's the internal resourcing that I'm talking about. I don't want to encourage you to think of it as this dramatic, but I want you to know what you're capable of, which is why I'm pointing out this example. In those moments when you're stuck on the chairlift, maybe you're not hanging face down into like the air. Maybe you're just stuck on a chairlift and you're like, I literally don't have the option to leave this situation. So all I can do is help myself get through this hard moment. You're not addressing the chairlift because you can't, but you are addressing your comfort in that moment. That is hard. That's kind of what we're doing in these moments when you have committed to stay the course. You know what's in it for you. You know why it's going to be worthwhile, whether it goes exactly how you want or it goes another way or whatever. You know it's in alignment and you know there are going to be hard moments along the course. Your job when you feel those moments of discomfort might not be to reopen the decision and go back through, well, should we commit to this? Was it right to in the first place? What else could we do? That is such an enormous energy drain. And if you do that every single time you have doubts along the way, you are going to slow track your progress, cut your momentum off at the knees every single time, and you're going to diminish your commitment to this thing working out. So I want you to know you have the option to take those moments of doubt, discomfort, fear, not as signals that we need to rethink the decision, rethink the course. Maybe it's a signal that you need to double down on supporting yourself through that moment. So I would be super curious if you heard something that you needed to hear today, like, oh, I do get bored in calm waters, and maybe I do want to work on that because it would make my life easier. Or, I never thought about flexing my self-compassion in moments that get hard, and might be something to consider. I would love to hear about it. So reach out to me on Instagram at KP Coaching, or if you're a TikTok person, at The Decision Coach. I know staying the course can feel boring. It can feel scary because you literally don't know what will happen. And I am here to remind you, you don't know either way. You can't tell, and you can't guarantee, and you can't control anything. And I know that's a weird note to end on, but there is freedom in it. There's freedom in accepting I can't be sure either way. So let me go inward, connect with the goals I've set, the values I want to align with, the person I want to be, the resilience and the resourcefulness I know I have, and trust myself to decide whatever I choose is right. And sometimes staying the course is where the payoff is. And I have to let you know, if you want tools that break these ways of thinking and ways of asking questions through a decision, if you want to practice that and you want to make it easier, go get the Decision Ease Essentials mini workshop. It's under 40 minutes, but it is jam-packed with things that you can use in your daily life starting right away. If you use just one tool a day from that workshop in your next week, you will make faster decisions. You will feel better about them. You will second guess less. You will have a less noisy mind. You will feel clearer. You will feel more decision ease. So go get that workshop, kirstenparker.com/essentials. And make sure if you want to work together on these habits, you check out how we can work together, because we can. And I don't want you to wait the rest of your life for the next 5 years overthinking and dealing with angst and mental noise when you don't have to. We can work together one-on-one, or you can get on the wait list for the new Decision Ease program coming in 2026. All of that is on my website. The links are in the show notes. And I hope you have a fabulous day, and I'll see you soon. Hey, want to find out your decision style? Obviously, go take the decision style quiz. It's in the show notes and at kirstenparker.com/quiz. We all have our style when it comes to making decisions, but do you know how to use your default way of thinking to your advantage? Or do you mainly get stuck in the most annoying parts of overthinking and people pleasing? The decision style quiz has your answers, my friend. Take it right now at kirstenparker.com/quiz.